Easy video today because I've got the ump, quite frankly. And I've got the ump because of the propaganda machine is in full operation. All cogs going, everything. It's crazy. The leaks from the club are really annoying me. And I don't mean transfer rumour leaks. Don't mind those. I'm not talking about training ground tittle-tattle. That's fine. It's the propaganda. It's the manipulation. They're the kind of leaks that are put out there to make the fans feel a certain way or react in a certain way. I hate it. And the reason I hate it is because it's predicated upon us not being able to remember what's actually happened. It takes us all for fools, is my point. When this kind of spin is put out there, and I hate it. And there's two, and I'll deal with them one at a time. One of them is that basically it was the fans that wanted Pellegrini. So basically, we've made our bed, we've got a lie in it. The board only got Pellegrini because the fans wanted him. Lie. Not true. I'm going to deal with that in a second. The other one, which I'll deal with later on in the video, is the propaganda that's being put out there that Manuel Pellegrini would take 15 to 20 million pounds to pay off. Not the case at all. We'll deal with them one at a time. The whole Manuel Pellegrini thing. Now, fortunately, we're in a really luxurious position at Hammers Chat, and as we've got an archive of videos. We can actually go back, we can input a date, and we can find a video, and we can find what we said at that given time. Not only can we find what we said, we can find what you said, because you leave comments underneath the videos. So going back to a video which was, what did we do? We did 2 or 3 videos. We're looking at 16th, 17th, 18th of May 2018. At this point, Manuel Pellegrini has not been instated, but the rumours are there. We think he might be coming, along with Fonseca, possibly Emery, possibly Benitez. Those are the 4 guys that are in the frame at the point. Now, you would expect by what's been being leaked recently that actually everybody was fawning over Pellegrini as the guy that everybody wanted. I'm going to play you a clip in a minute. I'm going to play you a clip of what I actually said on the 18th of May before he was brought in, when Gio asked me what I thought of Pellegrini and whether I wanted Pellegrini in a club. I'll play you that in just a second. I only say it not to suggest I was right, but to suggest that not everybody wanted him. And then you could actually go to the videos, you can look at the comments underneath. There's a video here entitled David Moyes has left West Ham United. Fonseca, Pellegrini, Benitez and Emery are the 4 front runners. That's the name of the video. I scrolled down all the comments, and there is only one that's really pro Pellegrini, saying get this guy in. Many are saying, why get rid of Moyes? We've got loads of these videos up there. We've got so many comments. A lot of them are saying they'd rather Benitez. Not much talk about Emery. I don't think people particularly thought we were going to get Emery in. But a few that do want Fonseca, because he was the young up-and-coming one. We've got My Showbiz Name, who's a regular on this channel. He's talking about getting Eddie Howe in. He's talking about Jukanovic. I mean, there's not a whole load of stuff here with people going on about Manuel Pellegrini. In fact, My Showbiz Name goes on to say Pellegrini doesn't excite me. I find it very tough to judge ex-Man City managers because I think I could probably win the title with their resources. Maybe I'm being unfair, but at his age, I'm not sure he's the correct fit for us. So that's what he said. And that is in no way a particularly odd comment. Excuse me, I'm just trying to use the laptop and record at the same time. It's not a particularly odd comment to find on this video. I'll give you another one here. Where is it? It's from Phil McDonald. And Phil said, again, this is a year ago, the only reason players or managers go to China is to pay their pensions. If Pellegrini's in that mode, he's of no interest to us. I want a younger, more progressive manager. He goes on and says some more stuff. My point is, out of all of these on here, there is one post, which 2 other people respond to, by the way, suggesting that Pellegrini should be brought in. It wasn't our decision to bring him in, so why put the blame over to us? I just don't get it at all. I mean, it really annoys me. I'm going to play you the clip now, and here's what I said, well, just before Pellegrini was given a job. anything special at Man City. I remember the Man City fans sort of moaning about him, and I remember I know they had quite high standards because what they wanted was a Champions League at that point. But I definitely remember rumblings about him, not being tactically that switched on, and I think he's done all right in his career, but he is not Ancelotti, who's won trophies wherever he's gone and stuff like that. So I also think he's at the wrong age spectrum. I thought we should be going for somebody a little bit younger and who could, move us forward. So I think his time has gone. I don't think you're going to see Pellegrini pulling up any trees. He's almost been put out to pasture. That sounds terrible, by the way. That's insulting. I don't mean that, but in many respects, it's a bit like it's got a sniff of Zlatan going out to finish his days at the LA Galaxy about it. I think he's at the end of his managerial career, and it's almost like signing Zabaleta at right back is signing Pellegrini, and I know Zabaleta's done all right, but I just think we need to change the mindset of the club and get some fresh ideas in and start and build something.
That's it. I mean, what can I say? It's what I believed. Now, at the point he comes in, or a manager comes in, I do believe you need to get behind a manager. And that's right, and I did. I hoped for the best, and I hoped that he would bring in good players and play good football. That's absolutely fine. I mean, at the moment, Chris Hughton is being touted for the job. I don't want Chris Hughton. But I'm mindful that if we do get Chris Hughton, the last thing I'm going to do, if we do get him, is jump on a video and start being rude about him or start listing all his deficiencies, because I will want him to do well and I will hope for the best. That's normal. But to suggest that West Ham fans wanted Manuel Pellegrini and that's why we got him is utter rubbish. It is pure manipulation. And I'm not happy about that at all. The other thing that I mentioned earlier on in the video was about the big payoff that Pellegrini is going to have, and I hate this because the narrative has changed. So the narrative now that they are trying to spin is, oh well, we're going to be doing you a favour by paying him off. It's going to cost us a lot of money to pay him off. 15, 20 million, his backroom staff. We start hearing all of these things. But that's not always been the case, and this is my point. This is why you need to have a memory. Otherwise, if they had their way, they would try and manipulate you, have you doubting yourself. Pellegrini, after the first 4 games in his initial season, looked like he was struggling. Some were suggesting that he wasn't the man for the job. At that point, the board came under major criticism by saying, oh, why have you got this guy in? Surely we can't pay him off. What's the problem? The board then started leaking through all their favourite normal sources by saying, oh no, it's okay. If the worst comes to the worst, we can pay him off. He's only on a 12-month rolling contract. They briefed everybody. Go and Google it. It's still all there. It was in the Standard. It was in the Guardian. It was in the Telegraph. It was in Football London. It was on Claret Hugh. It was everywhere. That he was on a 12-month rolling contract, and it would cost to pay him off between 7 or 8 million pounds. They didn't have to pay up the full terms of the contract. That's how it works. That's how it worked in this instance, and that's what they wanted us to understand and to hear. Well, I heard it and I remembered it. So to suggest now that you've got to pay up the full terms of the contract, well, that's changed. Your tune has changed because it suits what they're trying to peddle, which is that they've got to pay out a lot of money. I don't know why they don't just do the sacking. I don't know why they're just not honest with the money. Or just shut up and don't mention it at all. But it's playing the pauper. It's playing the orphan Oliver with a begging bowl out. Suggesting, oh, well, you better be thankful if we pay him off. It's like the mechanic when he didn't take a breath. I do apologise to any mechanics out there. You must remember I'm a plumber. I'll get accused of the intake of breath as well. But it's like them saying, oh, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Pochettino has been sacked by Tottenham, as I'm sure you know. Pochettino gets the sack. Daniel Levy doesn't pay him his £8 million a year for the remaining 3 years of his contract. That's not what happens. He will remain on the payroll. He's not going to get some big lump sum unless they come to a negotiation conclusion. They won't. Abramovich doesn't do it. Nobody does it. What will happen is Daniel Levy will know full well that he's going to get a job. when he gets a job, then what they'll do is they'll work out the difference. Up until that point, they'll pay him his wages. They don't have to give Pellegrini some big payoff. Now, the chances are Pellegrini is not going to get another job after. This is his last job, and it was always thus. That's what my showbiz name said. That's what I said. That's what, where is it? Phil McDonald suggested, that he was coming here to boost his retirement fund. You've seen it in black and white. You've heard me say it. So he's unlikely to get another job. But that being said, they don't have to pay him all this money in one go. And they only have to pay out about half as much as they're suggesting that they do. And that's really about it. But I just find it really very, very annoying that, number one, it's being drip-fed. And that's what it is. Technically, the owners would say they don't do media anymore. Yes, Karen Brady has a son column, but, you know, the owners, Golden Sullivan, would say they don't do media, they don't do interviews, and by and large they don't. We all asked them to shut up, and by and large they did. But it still seeps out, and there's still a constant drip. We are drip-fed all this news, and I find it actually... I'm not sensitive in that sense. I'm not offended, I'm not someone that gets like that. But it is quite insulting to be expected to think, or someone try and convince you that actually you did want Pellegrini when you didn't. Just because you got behind him when he came in, there wasn't this massive, massive swell of people, of fans, busting a gut and asking for Pellegrini. When it looked like Moyes wasn't going to get the job, nobody mentioned him. That's the truth. It was only when the rumours started to come, and even then people weren't convinced. He was far from the top of the four choices. Far from it. People were holding polls. Who out of these four, Fonseca, Benitez, Emery, Pellegrini, do you want? Pellegrini never won a single poll. But to be told that actually it was us, we got the ball rolling, the ball started rolling and carried such momentum that the owners somehow implemented our choice. Well, that's utter crap. I mean, it really is. It's just not true. That annoys me. And as you can tell, the contractual, the nonsense that this guy's going to need £20 odd million to see him off. It's just nonsense as well. So beware what you read, folks. Beware what you listen to, and just read between the lines. Is what I'm saying. Do your research. Have a little Google search. We're a wonderful. We're at a wonderful junction in human history in terms of being able to look at any archive we want to. So all it takes is a little glance back. You do not have to believe. Listen, I know you're not anyway. I know you know that. But anyway, that's it. It's a lunch. It is definitely a lunchtime rant today, but it is very, very annoying. What I say, don't believe the hype.